What up, G's? It's your boy Prophet74. Today we got ourselves on a new Omen. We're gonna check it out, and you guys tell me what you guys think about it. And first of all, we're gonna turn the back of it, and we're gonna see what's going on in the back of the hood, and see what's going on behind it. If you guys see it, I'm gonna try to balance it because there is no balance. So right now we have a RTX 2080 Ti card. It comes with it. If you guys see it here, Type C connection, and then here you see another display port. It's part of it. It's an extension. You got the audio connections right here, inputs. You got the Ethernet connection, and then you have a USB 3.1 and an extra Type C connection, another connection Type 3.0, and another. This is the optical connection for the audio, so you have surround sound. So it's not bad. I'm gonna open it up too, and we're gonna first of all see what's in the front of it. Let's go ahead and check it out. We're gonna bend it out just a little bit so you guys can see the front of it. 2 USBs, audio jacks, and then you have a power button in here. And look at the slick new look on it. I'll put it as much as I can, fit it in here. I like this whole setup. It's smaller than the last one, so nothing fancy on the other side. We're gonna go ahead and open it up. First of all, 2080 Ti card, GeForce RTX 2080 Ti card. We're gonna remove that and we're gonna open it up and see what you guys get besides that. So on top of it, we're running with a Intel i9 in here. Currently, what you get right now, it's a HyperX DDR4. I'm not sure how many megahertz it is, but we're gonna look at it, and it looks like a cheapo 3600 megahertz, maybe even less. I'm not quite sure. So you get the 16. Let's put it back how it was. So you have a slot for four four memories in here, and then you have the 1 terabyte of SSD here. If you guys see it, the M.2, you get 1 terabyte of this, and we're gonna disconnect it right now, and we're gonna see what's under this hood and see what you get. What kind of video card is it? So right now I'm disconnecting it. I'm putting it to a side, and if you can know, you get a 700. Let me see if I can move it here. You get a 750 watts power supply. All right, so 80 plus platinum. That's what it comes with it. We're gonna see if we can remove the video card so you guys can see a little bit more of the video of the actual system itself. It's on this side, and this was to actually keep the weight of the machine. Before you disconnect, you gotta move this out first. What you need to do is lift it up after you remove the screw, and the plate comes out. This is very important. If you can see, it has 2 little circular inputs in here that slide in there, and there's a couple, 4 of them slots in case you switch out video cards. So we're gonna remove the video card, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about it. So if you can see, it's a GeForce RTX 2080 Ti, and it's a basic one, nothing fancy. It does have the bridging on the top, so in case you get a secondary card, you can always bridge this one too. You guys can see it back here. It looks like the RGB lighting connection in here, and a couple other things, a power supply for the RGB lighting. It's a SATA connection. If you guys can see the input, it's a SATA connection in here. The motherboard, it says Omen, but in reality it's an MSI motherboard, as I was told. Water supply here is in here. It's a water cooling system. If you guys can see it, let me move it more to the side. Water cooling system cools that straight. Like you can't upgrade to a different water cooling because there's not enough space on this tower itself. But the motherboard looks compatible to other towers. So you can probably replace the tower in the future, but the only thing you're gonna have problems is all the inputs and all the connections that are available. Right now there's a wireless device, a wireless card here. So currently we have another SSD card cover here. Let's unlock that sucker. There's an SSD card slot here for another one, for another M.2. We're gonna uncover that one. There's another slot for an M.2 here, if you can see it, but right now it's covered with a plastic a fill. It's just pretty much a fill, so you could replace it later down the line. You can put it back together and cover it up, but you don't have to cover it up after you have. I would suggest just leave it as it is. Make sure that it cools with the whole system. So let me put this back how it was. And this is SSD 2. So you have 1, and then you have currently the number 2. On this motherboard, there's only one slot for any one card. That's it for the video card. That's about it. You can't put your Elgato card. You can't put any kind of PCI card because there is no more slots for anything else. Everything else is taken, even though they give you another extra slot in the back here. Even though they give you an extra slot in the here, there is no more slots for anything else. Pretty much the water cooling system, you can't, as I can see it, there is no other room for it. Seems like this is pretty much the two fans you have. You have this one right here in the side of it, and then you have the larger one, which this is 120, I believe. And this system itself, there is no way you can move it anywhere else because there's not enough room. Right here, it's pretty much stretched to the thinnest. It seems like they pushed it all the way to the top. So if you're gonna replace this, you're gonna have to replace a whole new one in a different tower because there's no space for any other one. Even if you have a NTXT version of it or a longer one, there's not enough room for anything else. So you're not gonna be able to upgrade anything other than the video card, and that's about it. There's only one slot. I'm not happy with this machine at all. I was thinking that it's going to be a bigger machine, a stronger machine, more slots. This is not made for streamers. It's made more for gamers and editors. Unfortunately, this machine did not make my cut of having extra slots, which is horribly bad because if you want a Elgato card or you want to add a PCL card that's a card reader or anything else, or maybe even more inputs for USBs, you're not going to be able to. You do have the power, which is 750, which is great, but it doesn't hit the right strokes by having those. If you guys see only one slot in here, and that's what you get. It had dual video cards. You're not going to be able to. Unfortunately, this is a bad setup that the Omen does. I don't really like this whole thing. The video card will be taking more than 50% of the slot in here. All your motherboard inputs are in the left top corner. Fan inputs, there's more fan inputs in here, but unfortunately, if you guys could see, I'm gonna see if I could try to zoom in, but the fan inputs, you can't add any more fans because they cut all the pins out from every single fan. I'm looking at all the fan inputs are being cut out. Every single one, it's made to be, you know, everything was meant to only customize one thing, and that's it. And it's for pretty much for gaming. I'm very disappointed with this machine that I can't upgrade it to anything higher other than the things that you see as it is. If I want to get a whole new motherboard, I would have to get a whole new tower because there's not enough room in here. There's only 4 slots in it, and if you can see, the motherboard takes the majority of the space in here. The system's half of the size of the other Omen, of the 2017, 2018 Omen. I'm not sure who they were trying to sell this to, but if you're gonna go affordable, this is something that's on the market. I heard it was cheap as $1,200. Some people have purchased something like this with this same input. The only thing I would honestly upgrade here would be probably just the memory, and maybe adding a second SSD connection, 1 terabyte or 2, depends on your budget. The OS is connected to 1 terabyte. Your secondary will be for file storage or anything, or backups if you want, or your games, all your games pretty much. As you can see, everything's pretty much custom made by HP, and they don't want you to touch anything in here pretty much. The other side is completely sealed in the back. In order to remove the other side, the back end, you're gonna have to remove the front end and then the top end. So it's pretty much all sealed. They don't want you to access the cable behind it. But if you guys can see, there is 2 slots for 2 additional hard drives. I'm gonna put them in here. It could be either the small format 3.5 or the larger one, or the smaller one 2.5. Either one, it could be a laptop hard drive or the larger hard drive. If you guys can see, there's 2 slots in here, and they don't give you those. So they do give you the power. They give you the power, and they give you the data in here. If you guys can see, the 2 of them, the connections are right next to each other. It's very simple. 2 of them, so you could have your mechanical drives running or your solid state hard drives in here. Whatever, 20 terabytes, 10 terabytes, whatever your budget is. But unfortunately, there is nothing you can do on the back end. The lighting, we're going to take a look at it, and we're going to turn it on and see how noisy it is and see how well it runs. But let's put everything back. Also another thing, you could replace the power. And if you guys can see, the power the cables itself and the power are not accessible. So that means they're pretty much is as is, and it covers a lot of the stuff. So the power supply, you might have to replace. If you ever have to replace it, you can. That's another thing, additional thing you go upgrade. So I like the setup, but it's just not too much tinkering you can do on this tower. And pretty much it's red, but you can mess around with the color now. And I see other colors in there too that you can mess around with it. We're gonna log it up, but as noise wise, it's very quiet. I don't hear anything. It's nice and smooth. It's probably loading up in the main screen right now. The light itself, if you guys can, let me see if I can bend just a little bit so you guys can see more of it. See the video card light? It's a little red in there. Not bad. GeForce is lighting up. The only RGB lighting is on the top itself, and it's going to reflect on the glass itself, so it's going to look like it's mirroring. It's a waterfall kind of effect, but you could change it. We're going to do a more in-depth review on this. This is the first time we're getting our hands on this machine. So right now it seems like the cooling system is really smooth, really quiet, and both fans are running. Water is transferring. We're gonna run a couple of tests on it, see how well they made it. So if you guys like stuff like this, want to check out more of the Omen, I'm gonna do some more reviews on it. Right now it's just an open box, open item, see what you get involved. Currently I'm not happy what I'm looking at right now. It sucks that they only give you one slot for one video card. If you ever want to buy another secondary or add another PCI card or anything else, or video card or additional cards, audio analog cards or anything like that, you're not going to be able to. The PCI slot is only one slot, and that's made for the video card. So if you have any questions or any comments, hit me up. I'm your host, Prophet74, out.